it may get a little controversial, you know, some feelings might get hurt, but at the end of the day, it's my YouTube and freedom of speech is not illegal. What's going on, rock stars, teachers, parents, admin, fellow co-workers, and everyone else in between? Welcome back to another episode of That's right, we are back with another episode of Diary of a Mad Preschool Teacher. I know it's been a minute. It has been a minute, folks. So for this video today, we're going to talk about why I went from being a teacher to a nanny. So most of you guys know COVID shut down the world for a hot minute. And I was working in a preschool. Now, this video, I'm not going to mention where I was working. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And it may get a little controversial. You know, some feelings might get hurt. But at the end of the day, it's my YouTube, and freedom of speech is not illegal yet. So, yeah. But for those of you who do know, I've been a preschool teacher for the last 9.5, almost 10 years of my adult life. And I'm probably, if not, I would like to think I am a dope teacher. Now, I started at my last recent job last year, August. I got laid off in March, so I wasn't even there that long. And when I tell y'all, in between August 2019 and March 2020, the only thing that good that came out of that job was my kids. That was the only thing good that came out of that, were my kids. Because that place wasn't it. It wasn't it. And I know the ops are going to watch this and they're going to send it back to people, but it is what it is. I've been seeing a lot of people on Facebook as well, like in a lot of the teacher groups that I'm in, they've had a lot of the complaints. And it's so funny seeing other people have the same complaints that I have, because you're like, damn, that's not just happening where I'm at. That's a countrywide thing. Like the shortness of staff, the people coming to work and not wanting to work, the people getting favoritism. It was mind-blowing in the last 8 months seeing people have these complaints. Like, I really thought this was only my world that was going through these complaints, but clearly it is. Now, I'm not telling you one situation is better than the other. So I'm not saying in any shape or form if one is particularly better than the other. Some people don't like being in the house or under a parent all day with a kid. Some people, the classroom is just not for you. And unfortunately, I have worked with a lot of people where the classroom is not for them. Again, I've said it in many videos. I have seen people come, go in a matter of weeks. Like, it's ridiculous. So I know my work ethic is very different from the next person. I am not one of those teachers where you're just going to implement something and not explain why it's being implemented. That was probably one of my biggest issues. It was always this has to be done. Baby, if it ain't in Article 47, if the state of New York ain't requiring it, why is it being done? Why? I also just I got tired of being the teacher that would be the center teacher. Now, when I say that, I was one of the people at pretty much every center I've ever worked at. I was somebody that they know I can put her here, I can put her there. I don't need her in her classroom. I can put her in here because the twos teacher is running late, or the preschool teacher called out, so she can go hold it down in preschool. After a certain point, you get tired of being that person, because it's like, one, it's not appreciated. It's never appreciated. Two, it's not what I signed up for. If you hired me to be the infant teacher, why am I always in preschool? Why am I always in toddlers? And then you would have teachers that would be there and they didn't have a head teacher position and they weren't flexible. Like, I hated working with people that would tell me, I can't work in this age group. Bro, what are you here for? Like, why are you working in a daycare if you can't work in infants or toddlers? You can only work with 3-year-olds? Like, what are you doing, bro? Um, and I would also say, don't offer your services to parents, as most companies don't. Like, it's a whole protocol on how to, like, take care of kids off hours from your center. I'm the person, I let the parents come to me and inquire about my services. I was never one to say I babysit this child, this child, and this child. That was never my gimmick. I never cared to do it, but I think a lot of parents saw how much I loved their kids and how much their child loved me, and would just inquire. And when you're just that good, word of mouth. Like, I've had parents recommend me to other parents, and I've never had this other set of parents' kids, like, completely different age group, and I was referred. So I went from, initially I was an assistant teacher, so I wasn't getting many hours at work. So that's when the whole babysitting thing and nanny came into play, and I realized the nanny money is really good if you know your business and you know how to work it. Being a nanny is way more beneficial than being in a classroom. Do I miss being in the classroom? Kinda. I do miss having all my babies in one shot. I do miss, the hustle and bustle of the day, but it's been amazing not waking up overly tired. It's been amazing going through my day, not being annoyed and being stressed and being told I have a bad attitude. Um, it's nice not being used and abused all day, from fellow coworkers and from admin. Um, Again, it was just the last place, especially, just left a bad taste in my mouth. It left bad energy. It left bad vibes. Granted, I was already trying to phase out of the classroom. I do plan on going back to the daycare system probably once COVID is over, because I feel they're going to shut down the world again. So I don't want to get a job necessarily and then the world gets shut down and then I'm back to where I'm currently at. So the last place, yeah, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. A lot of the people weren't what I thought they were going to be. I'm one of those people. I'm not big on favoritism. I'm not big on, certain people getting perks and privileges and others not. Like, politics and privilege are a real thing wherever you work, but you haven't seen it unless you're in a daycare. Like, I'll be known with some people, like, some people just, like, they get away with murder. I'm like, bro, at least I do my job. You can let me get away with a little bit of something. Like, you have people that weren't doing what they were hired for, getting all the privilege in the world. Yeah, people that didn't want positions that they were put in, and they didn't want to execute what was needed. So I figured it would just be best if I stayed out of the classroom for now. It's been rough, because I feel like with the group that I just recently had, I feel they were still so young. I mean, they're all one now. Like, everybody in my class, I think my oldest is getting ready to turn 2. Yeah, my oldest is getting ready to turn 2 next month. So I feel like I missed out so much in, like, 7 months of their lives. Like, I missed everybody's first birthdays. I missed first steps. I missed first words. And when you're an infant teacher and you've been an infant teacher as long as I have, a lot of those first you get to experience. Like, their parents don't experience it. You experience it with them. So it was just really different not experiencing a bunch of first this go around. So yeah, but to me, at the end of the day, when you're a teacher, no matter what age group you have, whether it's public school, daycare, whatever, your students, if you're a good teacher and you're invested in your career and you're not just doing it for a check, your kids become so much, like, enveloped in your life. So it's just like I didn't like the fact that I just felt that I wasn't appreciated as a teacher, especially as a teacher who was asked to train a lot of people. I don't feel I was appreciated at all. When I'm also a person that I know I'm good at what I do, if I ask for more responsibilities, what's the problem with giving them? So I just feel like I was going to be stifled, and I had said to myself about 2 years ago, in the next 5 to maybe 6 years, I don't want to be in a classroom. Like, I need to be in an office helping train teachers properly. I try to explain to you, you can only do but so much training in a classroom on the clock. Like, I can't train somebody and be worried about 8 other children. Like, I can't, it's not ideal. And then the flip side to that is, I can talk to you till you're blue in the face. I got to see how you work. If you can't work, this ain't it for you then. Like, it's not that hard. But I just feel places, and not even just the last place I was at, like centers I was at prior to that, they would just, throw what I like to call the classroom the Shark Tank. They would throw these new fresh teachers in, and nobody knew what they were doing. And when you have staff that can't train properly, you're just adding bodies to a situation that you don't need to add bodies to. And I feel like it was just becoming to a point with certain places, they were just hiring bodies because the field is so understaffed. And then you have the teachers who know their ish, who are good at what they do. You're burning them out because you want them to do their job. You want them to train teachers, and you want them to go above and beyond what their job description says. Like, I wish I can print the job descriptions from the 2 companies I've worked for, and I can check off everything on that list that I've done, and then probably add another 2 pages of what I did that was asked of me but wasn't on my job description and I wasn't compensated for. So it's just, I just felt I was being really used for the most part. And my burnout, I'm one of those people, like, I don't physically get exhausted, I get mentally exhausted. And when my mental starts to go, I'm not a fun time. So I guess my mental was coming off as an attitude, and it wasn't being received properly by the higher ups. I mean, it is what it is. The universe looked out for me. I've been very blessed while dealing with COVID in Brooklyn. So I can say, for one, I haven't been really tripping about losing my job. It has been the first time in a while. Like, I've been working since I was 15, so it's been a minute since I haven't had like an actual paycheck. So the first maybe 2 months hit me really hard, but then it was like after that, like, when you know how to hustle and you know your worth, nobody can really blacklist you and stop your grind and stop your money. Like, I thought at one point when I applied for another center I was blacklisted, but it's like, maybe this particular company isn't for me. Like, I'm trying to start looking at things from the cup half full perspective instead of it being half empty. But I just feel that, when you're good at what you do, you realize being stuck inside of a certain box is not it. Like, some people, all they will ever be are just teachers. All they will be useful for is being in a classroom. And I feel that was what I was slowly dealing with maybe the last 3 years of my career. It's just been working with people who the classroom is it. That's their beginning and that's their end goal. Some people, they only strive to be teachers. Not everybody is cut out to be a trainer or to be, somebody in the office, that type of thing. Me, again, I know my work ethic. I know I could come in. If you need a schedule done, I was able to do it. If you needed files done, I could do it. You needed phones answered. Like, it was so much I realized that I was able to do and still be a teacher and still do bulletin boards and still do activities and still do parent teacher conferences and still do observations. Was it tiring? But it was. But I was also one of those teachers. I said this in a previous video. When you're good at your job doesn't stop when you clock out. Good teachers take their jobs home with them every day. So I would come home and still be working, whether it meant doing lesson plans, working on stuff for my kids, working on stuff in my classroom. My job never stopped. And I feel that's why I got burnt out, like, so much, because it never stopped. It was like, you go to work, and then some days I was babysitting after work or babysitting on the weekends. My life revolved around my kids. And I felt when I got laid off, my life was snatched from me. But again, I had wonderful parents. People kept in contact. I kept in contact, and I've been blessed. I've been blessed to still see some of my kids. I have been fortunate enough where being unemployed hasn't hurt my pockets as much as it has to some people. But yeah, I feel that I hit that point years ago. Like, I want to say maybe 5 years ago, I hit that point where I was the teacher to train everybody and to do everybody's job and then some. So yeah, I just feel, to me, being outside of the classroom and being a nanny is a little bit more lucrative for me now versus me being in a classroom and running the risk of the world getting shut down again. Again, I know that is all some people will ever be good at doing. Not knocking anybody for that. Like, if that's what you want to do, by all means, do you, boo-boo. But that's not what it is for me, because I know my potential is limitless. What I want to do, limitless. So yeah, I have to get out the classroom. So maybe this was the universe's way of speeding it up just a little bit for me and motivating me to get my ass in grind mode. So again, this is not to knock anybody who only wants to be in a classroom. We need teachers like that as well. We need teachers that want to be teachers but be good teachers. Like I said, it's a difference between being a teacher that's just there for the sake of being there, and then the teachers who genuinely love their kids. I have been fortunate enough where I've had co-teachers who are phenomenal teachers, and that's what they want to do. I need teachers like that. I don't need teachers that are just there because something fell into their lap and they're like, hey, let me run my shot at being in a daycare setting. Like, that's what I realized a lot of people I worked with. This video is going to trigger a lot of y'all, and I keep telling y'all I got all the time in the world. Trigger should be my middle name. But yeah, it's just that this video was very short. Like I said, I love what I do. I know what my drive is. I know my potential is limitless. I know everybody can't be a boss. Everybody can't be a leader. Trust me, I've seen that firsthand the last year, that everybody's not meant to be a leader. But I just know, with the knowledge and experience that I have, me being stuck in a classroom is not where it should be. It definitely should not. I even had a director that I know she really didn't like me, but she even said to me, she was like, you don't need to be in a classroom. You need to be a coordinator of some sort. I mean, why she didn't give me the position, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there either. But she definitely, before I left, she did tell me, we tried to end on a good note. She definitely did tell me that. I knew this lady did not like me, but she told me the classroom was not the end point for me, which I could wholeheartedly appreciate and love. But yeah, honestly, like, just right now, the flexibility of being a nanny and the pay is just better than being in a classroom. Like, I'm not really confined to a schedule. Like, I don't have to give you weeks in advance notice that I have a doctor's appointment, and then if I want to run to the doctor while I'm on said clock, I can, and come back, and it's not an issue. I don't stay at work past my time anymore. Like, if I need to do something, I can take the kids with me. So it's it's pretty beneficial to not be in a classroom right now and not be confined to a center and like all of that good stuff. So again, I would always tell you guys, measure and weigh the pros and cons of it. For some it might not be the best route. Like I said earlier, everybody's not cut out to be a nanny, but everybody's not cut out to be a teacher. So I've weighed my pros and cons over the last 8 months, and right now I can focus on school. I'm almost done with my degree. I can focus on my channel. I can it's so much other things I can focus on instead of worrying about a center that at the end of the day didn't really care about me or my well-being or anything else that I had going on. And I don't have to work with really inconsiderate people, like people not really being considerate of schedules and stuff. Like it's so much better. Like I have been so happy the last 8 months. Like it's phenomenal. So at some point I am hoping to get back into a daycare. We're just working on my portfolio and stuff. I have to actually redo like the book that it's in, but with the exception of that, like it's been amazing. Like it's been a weird year, but for the most part there's been a lot of good coming out of COVID 2020. So if you guys have any questions about just, being a teacher in a classroom and working with young kids, please feel free to always inbox me. My DMs are open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. On the weekends, my DMs are usually closed, so you may not get an answer on a Saturday or a Sunday. But yeah, and if you have questions about being a nanny, definitely inbox me too. Like I've been a nanny for years. I've have family in Connecticut that I practically live with over the summer. I have a family in Asia that when they were living here, they would fly me to Colorado to help them out. So again, everything has its pros and its cons. So let's talk about it. Like I said, feel free to DM me with any questions relevant to the topic. Don't just be in my emails, my DMs asking me pointless questions, 'cause I know how y'all do on social media. But yeah, just any questions. I'm always down to share knowledge and advice. That's what I do. So I love you guys as always. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're washing your hands, you're washing your kids' hands. Teach them to cover their noses. Stay healthy in COVID 2020. And I will catch you guys in the next episode of Diary of a Mad Preschool Teacher.